Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. WCS America round of 16 is almost complete. We have one final match. Before we get into that match, I want to remind everybody to check out the Blizzard Gear store. Make sure to go to gear.blizzard.com/WCS. Use the promo code WCS10OFF, and you can get 10% off your purchases. Some of the items they have available, like this very cute Baneling plushie. It actually morphs into a Zergling as well. And then you have a Jim Raynor figurine here, one of the Pop Games figurines. Jim Raynor, one of my favorite characters in StarCraft. My buddy Robert Clotworthy, the voice actor behind it. One of my favorite quotes from him is, "Some things are just worth fighting for." That's right, Jim. That's right. You guys can pick those up. We also have a couple items here at the studio. So when you guys come this weekend, this Saturday and this Sunday, you can pick up some items as well. As we watch these different teams, these different individuals square off, you can form your own teams on the Fantasy League. Make sure to head on over to fantasy.eslgaming.com/SC2. Pick 2 players from each region. Predict who will make it to the finals. This is based on their real performance. And you can compete in the global ranking system. You can compete among your friends. You can compete for bragging rights. It's a lot of fun. If you're unable to get into it this season, don't worry. We'll have it next season as well. Fantasy.eslgaming.com/SC2. And yes, Todd, every season you're going to be on my team for EU. That's a promise. And we're going to promise to deliver some amazing StarCraft 2 action for this next matchup and also this weekend. But for the final match of the day, let's kick on it over to the commentators.
Thank you very much, Clutch. And indeed, we are getting ready for our final series of today, and actually our final series of the round of 16. Nate, it feels like it was just yesterday that we started the round of 32. We went through all of those groups, and of course last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, we kicked off the round of 16, which was definitely special. For the first time in the history of this studio, now that's an ESPN stat, we actually brought in players to play live, and it's been a lot of fun. Last week was fun. The last 2 days have been crazy. We saw some super epic games. Of course, Hearts game against Studman was legendary, but even today, Nate, we saw viOLet versus MajOr on Overgrove. Fantastic game, and perhaps we're going to see it once more.
I'm really excited for this match. There's been a lot of history with MajOr in WCS series, and it happened in the first 2 seasons. I think it was the last 2 seasons of WCS America. He actually played against Tasia in his group. He would beat Tasia and then lose later on. Well, this time around, he lost to viOLet to start. Is this the time when it flips? Does it flip for MajOr? Is he able to get out of this group and make top 8? That's a big question on everyone's mind.
This time he's on the other end of the spectrum. Normally he wins his first series of the day, and then after that he loses the final one. Well, this time he lost. It could be different. And let's not forget, these 2 guys have so much history with each other. As you guys can see, we're already firing up the veto process. Just last week at the Battlegrounds North America, viOLet challenged, or MajOr challenged viOLet. viOLet won 2-0. Then the favor got returned, and MajOr actually won the second series 2-0. So they were trading series back and forth. After that, they met at MLG Anaheim, and despite viOLet being one of the players to make it out of that super stacked group of the pool players, they like to call it, in the end, it was MajOr was able to defeat viOLet. Now, of course, earlier today, viOLet won. So they're 2-2 in best of 3s in the last 10 days. Well, it doesn't get much more even than that.
No, it does not. MajOr, always been a top-class Terran player. I think when we look at the maps as well, we still see some of the unusual vetoes, right? Like Frost gets vetoed against our 3 maps, King Staging Station, Habitation Station, and Overgrowth. Like these are, I wouldn't say they're super uncommon maps, but Habitation Station opens the door for MajOr to do some craziness. And, well, this is, I mean, it pretty much is the same as they had before.
Yeah, it's a very standard map with the one exception that there is no Frost. And, you know, the first 3 times I was shocked, and now I'm almost going to get used to it. And as much as I love Frost, I'm kind of happy to have a day without Frost. As you guys can see, our first map is going to be played on Habitation Station. The second map will be Overgrove. It's cool to see Overgrove guaranteed, because that, of course, provided us that fantastic game early today. Now I'm ready, Nate. I'm ready for our final series of the round of 16. After this, we will know if it's going to be 5 Terrans, 2 Protoss, and a Zerg.
A Zerg.
Or is it going to be 4 Terrans, 2 Protoss?
What Zerg has gotten through?
Hyun.
Just Hyun, I think.
I think it's just Hyun. Because we have Als and Pig Baby. Of course, Bomber and Pold yesterday. We're missing one. I'm forgetting about one. No.
Pig Baby got through, right?
Yes, so we have 2 Protoss. Either way. We're going to figure it out. Of course, I'm not actually sure if we're going to reveal the final bracket today. You guys are just going to have to stay tuned, and we'll see at the end of the show whether or not our lovely producer allows us to reveal the graphic. But if we don't do it today, then of course it will be up either tomorrow or the day after, because it's coming so close, Nate. July 5th and 6th is when we are going to have our finals weekend, where we will crown a new champion of WCS America Season 2. Last year it was Polt who won in Season 2. He's still in the running. But, you know, this is really the Terran region. We got these 3 Terran superstars that have won tournaments all over the world. Polt, Bomber, and Tasia. And all 3 of them are going to be here, are going to be live in action in Burbank, California. Well, if you're a Terran player and you live anywhere, Nate, anywhere in the Americas.
Anywhere.
I don't care if you live in Santiago, Chile. You're going to drive up. You're not going to make it.
You're Terran. Use those medevac boosters, man.
Yes, you're going to just fly. Hop on a mule. Get sent to space and land in Burbank.
Ride the mule capsule all the way to Burbank.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. I'm really stoked for it. Hopefully you guys are all excited as well. Of course, there will be WCS Europe too, so there will be non-stop action coming. And of course, July 4th is coming up as well. And what better way is there to spend your weekend after you can go out on July 4th, celebrate freedom, bald eagles, and all the good things that come across with being American, and then watching StarCraft in the weekend.
There's few things more I could want, Roddy. And this guy, there's few things more than he would want than to get into the top 8 major.
And what a story that would be as well.
Yeah, really. The sole representative coming from Mexico, coming from North America originally in this top 16. And I have to say, he looked on point in that series versus Arthur, eliminating a very strong Korean Protoss. Now, with this rematch versus viOLet, he knows what viOLet's capable of. He's seen a little bit of the madness that he's busted out, and I think this is one of those situations where you look at the series, he lost against Tasia, and you've got to be able to pick a few things out of that.
Yep, exactly. And I really think that MajOr doesn't have to look too much into that first series of today. If anything, I would even feel good about it. Once more, he proved to himself, I can deal with viOLet. I can go toe-to-toe with him. I can do it all the way out to the bitter end. This time I lost, but we have been trading best of 3s back and forth. And, you know, normally I actually think it might be better for MajOr that he lost that first series of the day. Because, of course, it would go through his mind as well. Like, hey, don't have 5th time in my career where I win my first best of 3, then lose in the winner bracket match, and then eventually end up losing against the same guy that I've beaten before. You don't want that to go through your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna have a very small pause over here before we will be loaded in to Habitation Station. Now, Nate, this is really important because we cannot reveal where the players spawn because this is Habitation Station.
That's true. I mean, there's 1 of 3 potential spawning positions, and of course, viOLet only has access to 1 of those. Which is, I mean, it is a bit unfortunate for him, but we'll.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair actually. Now you think about it. If I think that Protoss and Zerg should have the ability only on Habitation Station to lift up their hatchery or Nexus.
Use Nexus Recall or like Hatchery Deep Tunnel or something like from the campaign.
That would be cool. I would actually love to see a hatchery flying, you know, with all like the mud dropping from the top and stuff. I think that would be beautiful. That's like
the stuff of nightmares.
Imagine if like there's a hatchery like just dropping creep all over your Rexes.
No, I don't want to imagine that. That's. I think we'll just stick to Terrans being able to fly. I think it's a lot more fair and totally balanced.
Yes.
For given the circumstances.
What race?
You know, I just got my Protoss account
Into Diamond.
Yeah. Just the other day. And the season's locked.
But you were serious.
I was kind of serious.
Well, Nate, I'm very proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah. I found I recalibrated my A key and all of a sudden I started winning more games. It was great. It was great, Roddy.
You know, I would love to challenge you with my Terran, but that would probably still be a bad idea for me because Terran is pretty difficult.
I know how to build oracles, Rotterdam. Okay, we've resumed the game. We are ready to kick off the final series of the night. And as you said, it's on Habitation Station. I guess now that neither of the players can definitely hear us, we can say that they've spawned in their standard locations. And of course, this guy, he didn't have an option to relocate. He's dealing with the hand he was dealt. It's the red Zerg player from CSN Agency. It is viOLet.
viOLet will go up against the blue Terran. Hailing from Mexico, representing Root Gaming for the 4th time in his career. Give it up for MajOr.
And MajOr had a very interesting first series against the Zerg player earlier today, but already showing a little bit of boldness, Roddy. This SCV, it's moving out earlier than you would typically send one in this matchup.
There's a second one coming as well. We're not going to shout about it too loud just yet, but of course, before this happens, I want to give a shout out to our dedicated observer as well. So he's been doing a phenomenal job throughout the entire round of 16. As I really think that, you know, out of everyone stepping up their game, Flow has brought it to a whole new level.
Yeah,
he has definitely gone with the flow.
Yeah, we got this whole North American operation going together. We brought a lot of people in from different places, but I think it's all flowed very nicely.
I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna think about it.
You don't have to say anything at all.
You know, when I lay on my concrete floor tonight because Bomber is taking my room and Yona is taking my mattress, I'll close my eyes and think of a better rhyme.
All right. The Overlord's gonna come in and see, okay, you've got a supply depot or nothing else. So this is either command center first, or 2 racks, or if it's Bomber, you built your barracks on the other side of your main base for no reason. But now the SCV is moving out, and the first barracks is done. Violet's still not 100% aware of this because MajOr is a command center firster, but he sees this SCV, and this is where, as a Zerg player, you start to be like, okay, this seems a little fishy.
And it wasn't 15 hatch into 14 pool. He squeezed out at least 1 more, but I believe it was even 2 more. Oh, well, what did you see what he tried to do there? He pulled SCV. Did he get the SCV? Yes, he did get the SCV. So that is very nice, and that's kind of frustrating. Risky move there by viOLet to sacrifice resources in that phase in the game, but it was worth it because he was able to surround the first SCV of MajOr, and that complicates things now a little bit because instead of having 1 SCV or 2 SCVs there, he only has 1.
Yeah, I don't know what sound a drone train makes, but it is going right for these barracks. And there are a couple more SCVs here. One Marine gets picked off. That's nice, but you know what? That bunker didn't really slow it down from building, and it's almost complete below the natural of viOLet. If he can finish this bunker...
One more SCV. Look at these drones, man. These drones are just like... creating a little wall over here, making sure that the SCVs won't get ready. But the SCVs want to go for it with 3 Marines, though. I really think that this is MajOr's time to fight 4 Marines now. There's a lot of DPS. There is no Queen on the map just yet. It's the bunker is going to be so close to being completed. It will be completed, but will the Marines ever get there?
It's a big question. You know, Violet's missing out on a ton of mining because of the way that he's dealt with this, so MajOr...
Not getting this around.
Yeah, he doesn't get this around of them, so most of the Zerglings will die, and then there's just a drones, really, to fight against this, but I really feel like MajOr, he's had such an extra little bit of income.
Look at this one Marine.
This could still snowball in MajOr's favor very quickly. Well, I guess he got enough Zerglings out.
Yeah.
He saved resources after he pulled the drones.
I think this was good enough for viOLet in the long. I actually think viOLet in a fantastic position. Was really close for a second, and it looked like he wasn't going to get this around. But he overpulled drones all along, and you know, it's better to overreact than to underreact. Yes, he lost a lot of mining time, but never were there any Marines in that bunker. In the end, he forced MajOr to salvage that bunker as well. This one is not over yet, but so far so good for viOLet.
Yeah, these Marines stepping back, trying to just kill these Zerglings. If MajOr can get enough of his Marines alive after these Zerglings are dead, there's still the threat. Doesn't lose that new Marine.
Yeah. This was actually a little bit overheated there by viOLet. Lost all of his Marines. He only got the SCV there. 6 micro by MajOr, but there is a spine crawler going up on top of that ramp, and that one spine is definitely going to shut down most of the action that MajOr would love to throw at him, unless, you know, the Marine count keeps growing, and instead we're looking at like 14 Marines. But with 5 or 6, that is just not enough to mess with a spine crawler.
No, and since there's no gas for viOLet, his counter-attack possibilities versus straight Marine aren't that big. And I have to say, for all the Zerglings that he's built after losing that initial wave, it's really preventing him from trying to capitalize on the lack of SCVs, or the SCVs that MajOr lost earlier on, because both players have lost 4 workers this map, but when he's built this many Zerglings, MajOr going to 3 command centers, the worker count is still relatively even. Now a good wave of drones is going to come.
Yeah, exactly. And from this point on, it's going to be nothing but drones, as there are 2 Queens on the map as well. And of course, viOLet knows that he's going to have so much freedom with that spine crawler to just drone up like a madman. These Zerglings are going to try to be as annoying as possible. I think MajOr will be okay. Will not take any economic damage anymore, but he also has no options to be aggressive. If viOLet follows this up with a 1-1 Roach, for instance, Nate, how would you feel about that?
It would be really tricky because viOLet he's still in a really slow spot, right? But at this point in the game, when you look at a series like this, you kind of throw all the timings out the window.
Yeah, that's true.
If you would say, oh, you know, a Terran player starts their stim around 7 minutes, it's almost 8 minutes. We don't even have gas being mined yet. Like, it's the refineries have just finished for MajOr. He's going to go straight to his factory, which makes the most sense. But there's no gas for viOLet, and we're getting close to 10 minutes. He's just finished his extractors, so he can go for a faster lair and try to make that attack work? I guess he is. Huh, I kind of expected Zergling speed. But I guess he already had the Spine Crawler, so
Why
he
would you
was
ever
set up.
question me in CVT, Nate? It's my matchup.
If he goes 1-1. If he goes 1-1 Roach.
No, I'm kidding. 12 more slow Zerglings in production now, so viOLet could still decide to fire up Zergling speed if he really wants to. But I totally agree with you. You know, like, I didn't call it the timing. I just said a 1-1 Roach attack. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't use the word timing, because that, of course, would have been ridiculous. There is no way that, you know, a timing of some sorts exists after this crazy opening phase in this game.
And there's always such weird ways that people define that word, but technically there's, okay, 2 factories. I just realized there's 2 factories being built by Major, so this is already getting a bit funky.
I'm gonna see him mech it up.
I don't want to believe he's gonna go mech. I think it would make sense if he went for like 2 factory Hellion, or maybe he wants tanks. Maybe he just wants to go Marine tank because he thinks it's gonna be Roaches.
And he's maybe just like a mix between tanks and Widowmites.
Yeah, he saw the wall, but he did not see the Roach Warren.
Maybe he's just worried about like what could potentially be thrown at him. He knows that it's going to be hard. Fires up Blue Flame.
It is Blue Flame. So the nice thing about this for Major, whether or not he realizes it, is that he's got a factory with the tech lab on it. So when he sees the Roaches, he just has to not die for about a minute, because this wall, you know, a barracks wall, is very difficult to break with, you know, anything really. But Val doesn't actually know that the wall is set up like this. However, he's going to take the gold as his 3rd base. And we've seen this from viOLet time and time again, where he'll open up and, you know, to us, to the lay person, you look at this and say, okay, this looks like a very aggressive push, but Major, if he overreacts to this, viOLet can put a lot of drones onto that gold. He actually starts a siege tank immediately. So
I think
that's
that's very smart there by Major. He is going to get a siege tank. He's also throwing up a bunker behind that barracks wall. So that is also good news. And viOLet already made a bunch of Roaches, and he's still making Roaches. He's only on 45 workers, which, you know, isn't that crazy economy. Yes, it's going to be 3-base Zerg. Yes, there will be a gold base. But you're going to have a hard time saturating 3 bases with 45 workers. But he's already producing so many Roaches that I feel that if Major just keeps on going with his guts right now, because I really feel this is more of an instinct thing than that he actually thinks it's necessarily the right... Oh, he salvages the bunker. Okay, that might complicate things a little bit. I don't like where this is going, Nate. He's going to find so many Roaches in the wide open.
This is awkward. He wants to take the gold base, so Major... He's made a decision to take a pretty big risk, and if the Roach attack hits within the next 30 seconds or so,
it will hit.
Yeah, and it should come very soon. Major is at he's gonna have to make the best, I don't know, somehow just the best trade ever. Like, he's gonna need his tanks to perfectly splash. These Hellions are gonna need to run by and kill all of the drones of viOLet, but they're all gonna die very quickly.
He does see the Roaches. That is something. I would really love to see him just abandon this mission and like go back to the high ground to stay on 2 bases for a little longer. He's not going to do it. He's going to use the Rex as part of a wall. The Roach are going to deny this gold base. There are a few SCVs there, but I'd say let those SCVs die. Tank is very exposed though, and I'm just not sure if Major has enough DPS over here. As well, actually, so far this one tank in the back is doing some serious work. He does have... No, he cancelled. He researched Combat Shield and then he cancelled it.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
He doesn't have stim, and as you said, of course, he doesn't have combat shield. But these tanks, they're doing work. He's actually moved up to 3 factories now.
Yeah, he's gonna mech it up. But first he fired up combat shield, and then he cancelled it.
It did. Yeah, it looked like he was setting up for Marine tank. Which, if any of the maps aren't horrible for Marine tank, it's this one.
Especially with viOLet having that gold base. It's kind of like a jackpot scenario.
Yeah, maybe Major's decided that he likes playing versus Roach Hydra more with mech. And in his experience, maybe he thinks this is just an easier way to play against it rather than having to rely on, you know, I guess just having enough units with bio. He can rely more on positioning of his army, of his siege tanks.
I think it's still safe to say that was a successful attack for viOLet, but it's also good news for Major that he's still alive. A bunch of Blue Flame Hellions going to run towards his gold base. There are quite a few drones over here. Good first shot there. viOLet has been phenomenal though in spreading out these drones against attacks like this throughout the entire game. And once more, he doesn't really lose a whole lot of workers there. Well done by him. And the upgrade snake, that is something I'm definitely worried about. With 2-2 already halfway done against only +1 attack for mech units, halfway done for Major, that is definitely something to worry about if you're on the camp of Major.
Yeah, this game has reached a really weird and interesting point. This 3rd base is under fire again after relocating to the bottom right side, but even though, as observers, we can kind of see that Major wants to go for mech, these Marines have an incredible amount of utility, because if viOLet decided to switch into a couple of Mutalisks, usually something like that can catch a mech player off guard and almost instantly kill them. but there's enough Marine production out there to give him the anti-air he needs to just build tanks and not have to worry about whether or not he needs Thors.
Yeah, at least for now. 2 more factories will go down for MajOr. He's gonna go nuts when it comes to the good old mech build. We see Tolerant Claws being researched as well by viOLet. I love seeing that. I think especially it's good on a map like this where it's hard in general to swing around. So, you know, might as well make the best of your roaches and try to make something happen with Tolerant Claws. But I also
this
love...
wall.
Yeah, it's a great wall. It's actually going to make MajOr's life a lot easier. And MajOr is also ready. I don't think those missile turrets are just because he's scared of Mulus, because like you said, he still has quite a few Marines. This is going to help so much against roaches with Tolerant Claws, which is just a great decision by him.
Yeah, I think that the setup that MajOr has is very solid. He's kind of resigned himself to playing the long game, and as much as I guess I said earlier, like MajOr hasn't gone mech recently, he's still very good at it. I had the pleasure, he taught me how to mech, he told me all the beautiful things about how ridiculously strong Ravens are once you get enough of them late in the game.
Nah, you got it from Avilo, Nate.
I don't know, Kev. +2 attack on the way for MajOr's force. He's got his second armory about to complete, and the thing is, MajOr has a couple of options, but I think the biggest weakness of the way that this game has played out is that viOLet is able to get to a hive before MajOr hits 150, 160 supply. MajOr cannot push out, and he does not have any Vikings. So these Vipers, if he catches these forces, he could win this game very quickly. All these roaches
are on range actually of this missile turret. viOLet's going to throw away a lot of them over here. Doesn't really get a whole lot done. Maybe got 1 siege tank for his efforts there. You know, the Vipers, I agree, they're scary, but I feel there are so many mech units already that even if those Vipers abduct a tank or 2, I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world for MajOr. I would have been much more worried if there was a Great Aspire on the way right now, or would you disagree with me?
I don't think abduct is really going to have any hand in this. The thing is, if you spread your tanks out enough for Blinding Cloud to not do anything, and it's really Blinding Cloud that's the problem when you don't have any Vikings, because if he spreads himself out enough, viOLet can just attack from whatever the most like elongated point of the tank line is, and then he only has to fight a few tanks at a time because you can't put them close enough together to defend any one point from a maxed out attack. So the Spire's on the way, and I'm not going to disagree with you because Broodlords are really good versus this, but MajOr should be looking to add starports anyway. The issue is that for the next few moments, he is really vulnerable. Once he gets like 6 Vikings, then you can one-shot a Viper, and you can kind of play around a bit more.
I love these 2 command centers that are going down at the original third base of MajOr, because that I would say is his weakest spot right now in his defense, and I'm pretty damn sure that the command center that's closest to the orbital is going to morph into a planetary fortress. Yeah, the north one over there. And like the other one, obviously he's never going to be under a whole lot of pressure over here because of those Rexes, the missile turrets, the tanks behind it. I think that's going to be very hard for viOLet to break. I actually think if viOLet would have had drop, that could have been pretty sick. But MajOr seems pretty safe against this. This is going to be really hard. What is going to be used over here? Blinding Cloud will be used on a couple of those tanks, but I think that MajOr should have enough. Look at viOLet's supply
missile turrets
plummeting.
Surprisingly useful in this situation, and he does Blinding Cloud all the tanks, but the choke in that wall is so small that it buys him just a little bit of time to get through. Sure, he can deny the gold base for a little bit, but MajOr has dealt with that surprisingly well. That's a spot in the game where without Vikings, many Terran players that would say, I want to try mech, would die really badly.
And viOLet just remaxed on 30 more roaches, and I think as long as MajOr just keeps doing what he was heading towards to, then he should be more than fine to deal with this follow-up roach attack as well. More Vipers, more Hydras means that viOLet is spending all of his money. He's even morphing in a second Spire now, which I think is a little funky in this game, because even though viOLet is rich, he's not like extremely rich. It's not like he's balling out of control. How many drones does he have? Only 65. So I'm a little bit surprised to see double Viper. Now he's firing up a lot more drones. There's going to be another big attack, but there's going to be one... Actually, are they both orbital commands? Yes, they are. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, he just wants stuff to block those units from rushing up to the siege tanks, which works all... I mean, really, if you don't have... Even if you don't have the planetary, you can't rush right up to them if there's if those buildings are in place, but... I would have... I might have built a planetary there. I can see why he would do that.
Yeah, he's done that a lot in the past. Now, this is really interesting. We see Enduring Locust on the production tab.
viOLet has realized he cannot kill MajOr with Roach Hydra Viper anymore.
Nope. And I'm pretty sure he's going to fire up... I wouldn't say a Great Aspire soon, but I guess that's going to be a little bit tricky. Yeah. He might just like get as many upgrades for Mulalisk as possible as well, and then eventually switch into a bunch of Mulalisk if he feels the time is right and he feels like he has the money for it. But from this point on, you know, the Enduring Locusts tell me that viOLet is like, alright, enough. I'm not going to try to break this anymore, but I also want to make sure that I don't die against this mech army that's deciding to roll across the map. You know, because once again, we said this in the start of the day, if there's one map where it's still easy to attack with mech, it has to be Habitation Station.
Yeah, the thing is, there are so few bases on this map that if MajOr draws the game out really long, there's no way for viOLet to take all the other bases. So
this time, oh, Burrow being used, but MajOr is on top of this. Unfortunately, the Queen is soaking up a lot of these shots, but still, most of these drones should eventually fall. Line them up. Wow, MajOr is getting definitely money, worth his money over here. Yeah,
the Hellions aren't going to help you win any fights against this army composition unless, you know, they somehow get right on top of them. So I like it. Throw them away. MajOr's currently operating off of 3 starports now. He's built up, you know, couple Ravens, and in this situation, when you're trying to play against, you know, Vipers, especially if Hydralisks are trying to snipe those Vikings, point defense drone becomes really, really nice to have.
First stores are in the mix as well. We have 12 Swarmos on the production tab. A few more has been squeezed out, so we're looking at 14 Swarmos now, and that's definitely very hard to run into if you're a meching player. More Hellions this time on the south side of the map. viOLet can't really catch a break, never really gets the economy that he truly wishes he had, as he's still been hovering around right now at 62 drones, and he would definitely love to have just a few more than that. Especially if he plans on like completely overrunning MajOr one time with a big Muda switch. He needs to be richer than he currently is, because 20 Mudas are not going to do it. You know, close to 50 maybe, but 20 is just not enough.
Yeah, this is viOLet moving this army over here. I have to say, MajOr spread himself out really well. This is he's concentrated most of his defenses on this right side, but he still has just enough up and towards the upper end to defend. And viOLet would want to pull him out of position, but he doesn't have enough roaches and hydralisks anymore to break one small, like, if a point isn't defended enough, he can't break it because so much of his supply is in swarm hosts.
There's still no Zergling speed either, by the way. This is very important.
He's getting melee upgrades.
Might drop an Ultralisk Cavern eventually.
Well, they work for Broodlords too, so there's that.
Exactly. But we still have no Great Aspire. We have 2-2 upgrades on the way, but no Great Aspire yet.
And the Raven count is rising. Oh, this poor Thor. What are you doing out here, man?
Medevac.
Go home, Thor.
Oh. Sad day to be a Thor. All of the tanks go to siege up once more, so this is viOLet's cue to just back off for now. As there's of course no way that he wants to run into that many siege tanks. These Vikings and Ravens look terrifying. A couple of Seeker missiles could go down on the Swarmos. They're running away though. They might actually be quick enough to run out of range. Yes, they are.
Yeah. I think it's like when you do moves like that, you trade some energy to basically buy away 2 waves. But
how do you feel about these 16 Mutalisks that are in production now? I'm not sure.
They should be able to do a lot because he has his +2 coming in, and there's no building armor on the turrets. Okay. So as many missile turrets as there are, they should die really fast, even though they have high sec auto tracking.
24, of course, looks a lot better already. I really wasn't sure if 16 was going to do the trick or what the damage that he was looking for. But 24, then you're already looking at a whole different ballgame when it comes to the Mutas.
So the thing is, though, if he fights over missile turrets and the Vikings are at any one of the bases where the Mutalisks are, point defense drone makes defending pretty easy, but then the Mutalisks just back off. So there's a really weird back and forth that happens when you don't have Thors, but you have a lot of Vikings, because Vikings with these upgrades can actually trade well. I mean, the lower the numbers, the better, but you know, this isn't 50 mutas just yet.
All of these roaches walking in forces command center to lift up, so no planetary fortress just yet, and also a lot of supply being freed up. Look at viOLet, he has a lot of free supply now. I think he's not exactly sure what he wants to do with it. Well, the answer is more Mutalisk. He's hiding them for now as well, and I think that's super smart, because I was really worried. If he shows 16 Mutalisk, I just don't think that was going to get the job done. 24, okay, that's good. Now he has 25 more on the production tab, so now we are looking at close to 50 Mutalisk, and that of course changes everything.
Yeah, you're not going to kill. These numbers are way too big for you to have any chance with Vikings, and the thing is, Seeker missiles, Mutalisks can outrun those very easily. You basically have to wait till the Mutas are right on top of your Ravens to even have a chance.
Immediately we see a lot of missile turrets go down all around the map. Of course, how many Tors are we currently looking at? Actually, not a single Tor on the map anymore, as that one Tor got cut out of position. Look at these Mutalisks. I'm gonna need some good Seeker missiles, Nick.
I mean, he's got access to Seeker missiles. The one thing that's nice is, even if he can't Seeker these Mutas, which I don't think he should be able to, throwing a Seeker down when the Mutas get close enough will buy him time. And these Hellions actually bring the Mutas back. All he needs to do is buy himself time, because once you get enough Thors, like with these missile turrets, you don't want to walk in and look, 10 missile turrets. He knows. He's like, my army is good enough to be anything you have except these Mutas, turrets everywhere.
PDD's going down as well, trying to buy a little bit of time. Now they're coming real close, but it's just going to be point defense drones for now. Of course, these Vikings getting a couple of free shots off. And we're still looking at 43 Mutalisks though. More Swarmos on the production tab. I didn't even know that you could fire up +3 flyer attacks without a Great Aspire. Today I learned, eh?
Yeah, it's just a hive. That's all you need. A couple more swarm hosts being built. A little bit interesting. I guess if he can whittle down the tank count enough, there's still 22 siege tanks, but if he can whittle down the tank count with these Mutalisks, he can always try to switch back, which is usually a bad. And look at this, actually comes over, hits a couple of these tanks. He's just hitting wherever these Vikings and Ravens aren't. But now there are some Thors out on the map, which should make defending a little bit easier.
Yep, and Vikings getting a lot of free shots off though, and this is the type of game where eventually I feel that you're gonna have to be careful with your gas units as well. Of course, Swarmos are fantastic in just buying time for whatever you want, and viOLet has plenty of money left on his side of the map, so it's not that type of game just yet. The Thors are very scary. viOLet's gonna have to be real careful. I also love how MajOr didn't underdo it in his main base. He threw down like 7 more turrets near the sensor tower. He's like, I'll be Zave.
This is a good setup for both of these players, I feel. The upgrades are nice for both of them. These Mutalisks are doing a really great job at, doing what Mutalisks do, just picking you apart wherever your forces aren't. And MajOr needs to be careful because every Thor he builds makes this increasing swarm house count scarier and scarier. He's not replacing his Mutalisks. He is making a switch back into swarm hosts. Now there's only 12 siege tanks. I actually think the swarm host retransition could be what ends up killing MajOr, because these Mutalisks, he's kind of dealt with them okay so far, but like I said, every Thor, it's a couple less siege tanks.
But I mean, like, the Ravens are always going to be very scary. We have 10 of them right now, and how is viOLet going to kill these Ravens?
Yeah, I'd like to see more static defense, actually. It's a really good point from viOLet, because if he has a couple of spores, but if he kills all the Mutalisks off, then I think you could run up and basically just secret missile them and at least buy yourself time to rebuild those siege tanks. Then the economy comes into play again.
Locusts are coming closer and closer, and of course the last thing you want is if you're MajOr right now is ending up losing one of these stores. Look at all these Mutalisks, by the way. They're just dancing above all these missile turrets, picking off a lot of SCVs as well. But there are plenty of orbitals, so losing a few SCVs here and there is not that bad for MajOr. Of course, you don't want things to go out of control, but should be fine for now.
Yeah, he's actually going to start to build a few more Mutalisks. I think he feels a little bit more comfortable. There are only 4 Thors out on the map, and it takes 3 Thor volleys since these Mutalisks have +2 carapace to kill one. So unless all 4 Thors are together, like even if he runs into one of these bases, they're only being 2 or 1 Thor at a time. It's not going to be enough for one clumped up shot to actually kill all the Mutalisks.
We see the Ultralisk Cavern going down as well, so viOLet definitely has one more option soon. Has to be once more a tiny bit careful because he's spending a lot of gas over here on everything. And right now there is definitely no gas problem. There is plenty of money left on his side of the map, but we all know how quick it goes. 1 or 2 bad fights and suddenly, you're starving for gas. It's something that happens so often on maps like this. Yeah, Swarmo is coming closer and closer as well.
Yeah, these swarm hosts, like I said, they become so much of a bigger factor once these tanks get cleared up by the mutas. viOLet is masterfully balancing the muta swarm host composition, which is, arguably one of the best ways to deal with mech, because if MajOr really doesn't want to build Thors. He's continuing to rebuild his siege tanks. He's not going above 4 Thors, and he's really relying on these Vikings to take this game back, which is one of the things that opens up that Ultralisk transition you pointed out.
I'm loving the one little hero Viking over here as well. Viking's just going ham on this hatchery. He's been working on that since the moment it got morphed in. And he will get the job done eventually, unless the Mutalisks are going to try to snipe him, which would just be sad. That's an unfair fight.
He worked so
hard.
No,
the Viking. No.
It's close. No, the Viking's going to die.
No.
Backup has arrived.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. He's like staying in range right now of everything else.
I'll be back for you.
All right.
Pesky kids and your Ravens too.
Locust coming closer and closer to tanks. Of course, MajOr doesn't want to lose too many of these expensive units. The Vikings have been doing a really good job in picking up Mutalisk here and there as well. Of course, the muta count is still very scary, but we're looking at 31 Mutalisks now, while over 50 have been produced already in this game. So that means that viOLet has lost, in all this arrest, over 20 Mutalisk.
Yep. 8 Infestors are on the way though, Roddy. This game, we are seeing the full range of what you bust out in this match, and the only thing I think that's missing at this point are battle cruisers, but I know MajOr's not a huge fan of those. So.
I don't really like this, as these tanks are going to take quite a bit of damage from these Locusts, I feel. There are a couple of point defense drones to soak up most of these shots, and actually he keeps all of them alive. Man,
point
PDDs.
Defense drones are so good.
PDDs are very good.
Yes, they are. I really like that MajOr's managed to continuously get his siege tank count back up. These abducts on the Thors, pretty nice, but not dead quite yet. Point defense drones, defense droning. And he's going to start to kill off this gold base, but I mean, there's no gold left there.
No, there's nothing really left. There is a bit of gas left, but MajOr is not starving.
In the air with those mutas. Like, typically...
viOLet has burrow as well. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter because there's so many ravens. But still, Fungos are very scary. MajOr is playing with fire over here. He throws down the scan. Fungo will land, but only on 3 Vikings. And this is still a very good scenario for MajOr because now he knows that he has to worry about Fungo.
Yeah, it's very nice that he knows about this potential because even as good as Secret Missiles or Point Defense Drones are, Fungal, the only form of anti-air Zerg has that doesn't get blocked by Point Defense Drones. So if he can chain Fungal those Vikings, he loses that air fleet and he's dead. There's really no coming back from something like that.
viOLet has a lot of money, has a lot of minerals, a lot of gas. He's not really sure what he should be producing in this phase in the game, so he's just saving, getting richer and richer. He's going to pick off a couple of these turrets on the south side of the map, but eventually I'm pretty sure that MajOr will be able to stabilize over here and secure this base. viOLet's going to fire up a few Ultras, which obviously I don't mind, but I also don't think that he's going to be able to just overrun MajOr, because MajOr is so solidly set up as well.
Yeah, he's built so many siege tanks that it really helps in this situation. He's staggered his mech force. Oh, mutas come in. Turrets push him away, but he's still, as you said, those Fungals. Once these Spore Crawlers go down, though, that makes things a lot easier for MajOr. There's really not that much static defense out on the map. There are only 3 spores left on this map. So
yeah, these
MajOr has a lot of freedom to move around with these Ravens and Vikings.
Oh my god, the army supply of MajOr is absolutely insane. It's 170 mech army supply. It's just like, how do you engage this? There is no weak spot anymore when there's 170 supply of mech out on the map. And viOLet is forced to reposition his Swarmos in a little bit more of a defensive location, as MajOr is doing a really good job in pushing him back further and further. Both players playing excellent, but I really feel that this is so far going MajOr's way. He has survived the most dangerous phase in this game. The Mutas count is not that scary anymore. More and more Mutas will fall, as these Vikings are right now almost in a number where they can start pushing these Mutas back.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are already in that position. They can do a lot of damage to this. More tanks rolling up. Point Defense Drones, though, such a good way to lock down positions against Swarm Hosts and Mutalisks alike.
Ravens are just fantastic. Do you remember the days where people used to say that Ravens were the most useless unit in this game? How silly do those people look now? I
learned early. When I was in Diamond League, Mass Raven only. Easy.
It's still the solid build in 3v3, man.
it's great. You get building armor, rush auto turrets, nothing can kill him.
I mean, 2v2, you 4-gate, make a lot of units, and I'll just get Ravens. Ultra is going to run into these mech units in the middle of the map.
Thors are pretty good versus Ravens. Okay, Bates actually takes some of the attacks on his mutas, but
that was an expensive attack for viOLet.
Yeah. The thing is, viOLet's got all this money, but he's like, what exactly do I need to build to kill this?
Yeah, he doesn't have the upgrades yet. Those were Ultras with plus. They should have guidance plating, of course, right? Right.
Yes, this air fleet is too strong to just beat with Mutalisks and how many missile turrets there are. He can't switch into Broodlords because Seeker Missiles. The Infestors can't get close because of the Siege tanks. But MajOr can't push because as soon as he leaves the safety zone, then the Fungals start to come in, the Swarm Hosts can get on top of them.
Like, MajOr is not really pushing, but he's definitely moving forward.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a war of attrition because both players have access to all the bases on their own sides of the map. Maybe MajOr scans and just drops mules at one of viOLet's bases, makes them mine out faster.
Now we see Hydralisk on the production tab, and I definitely feel that's almost like a desperation move.
Hydras aren't going to get close to any of these units.
No, Hydras is just going to melt against pretty much everything.
And Point Defense Drone, of course. All these Ravens full energy, it's beautiful. I just imagine like 1 or 2 Fungals really ruining his day. But if he never leaves the tank line, it's not really a problem.
You know, how do you call these things? Sorry, I'm like looking for the word and I can't figure it out. You know, the First World War, you have the soldiers in these...
the trenches.
The trenches. Like, kind of feel like MajOr is playing this, like he's just moving from trench to trench. He's moving further and further forward. And I feel it's really hard for viOLet to somehow find MajOr out of position because he's taking slow and steady wins the race, as they say. And I really feel that this is how this game is heading. Because now suddenly we see Mutalisk on the production tab again, but, you know, then what purpose did these Hydralisks serve? Oh, he cancelled the Hydralisk.
Yeah.
Or they died already. One of the two. Most likely he cancelled it, guys.
Don't have the craziest
because Flow doesn't miss anything.
No. So MajOr's actually managed to get very close to that bottom center position. And I really like the way that he's done this because, as I said, there's such little static defense. These Vikings and Ravens can always give vision. Yeah, this Planetary's going to die, but I don't think anyone's going to miss it.
No, I don't even think MajOr's going to miss it.
Just clear the map, give it back to nature. Let the that's a lot of messages. I actually counted you can stop like almost 30 mutas if you have 15 building armor turrets. And Major's getting very close to that number in his main. I don't think muta harass is a thing in this game anymore.
So, I mean, you're a Terran player. As Major is coming closer and closer now, actually having tanks in range of a mineral line, and that is the freshest base of viOLet. It's really important for viOLet that he doesn't lose that base, and I almost see there's almost no way that he's going to save it, to be honest, because like Major's going to throw up turrets over there, there are so many Seeker missiles, there are Vikings. This is the base with most money left for viOLet. Right now he's looking at 4,500 gas, but he's not even maxed out yet. And the only gas that's left, other than at that base, he has 700 more gas to mine, Nate. This is a real problem. Now we see a Nidus network going down. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, I don't know where he has vision behind this siege line to drop a Nidus.
Overseers, I guess.
Yeah. I guess maybe a changeling could try to do it. Shutting down this base is really nice because this could end up being a base for Major later on. Yeah, the thing is, viOLet has still been he's gotten close to being really cost effective with these mutas. He was behind earlier on, but he's kept these swarm hosts alive long enough that he has enough resources in the bank. All he needs, all he really needs is one good trade versus Major.
I really disagree on Nate. I mean, like, he does have way more minerals, but Major can comfortably mine minerals for a very long amount of time. I don't really see a weak spot. I don't think he's going to lose a fight anywhere. And 4,500 gas looks like a lot, but before you know it, you're thrown back in the Stone Age and you're forced to produce slow links, because that's going to disappear real soon.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I don't think either one of these players can win a fight.
Look in the left bottom side of the map. Look how viOLet's realizing that, like, hey, these extractors are important. So he got another macro hatchery at the base that he just lost, and he's like mining gas in it like that.
The Overseers have made it to the top right as the Vikings come to kill them, so that's nice. He can prevent the Nidus from being planted in his base, but these mutas get right on top of a couple of these siege tanks, which helps to lock down that southwest base. And yeah, missile turrets will push that back for now, but yeah, he makes actually a really good point. As many minerals as viOLet has, you're starting to reach that point where, okay, just make a lot of Zerglings and hope the tanks splash themselves to death, which that's...
he doesn't have Zergling speed
That's a big
yet.
hope.
He still doesn't have Zergling speed.
Imagine if at the end he just had no gas, all he could go were slow
links. The Stone Age, man, it's happening.
He's going to go Broodlords. He's going to try it.
He's done a phenomenal job in cleaning up this this little lockdown that Major had on the south side of the map, which I really thought was like almost unbreakable with all the turrets. But a couple of the tanks were a little too exposed, and the mutas capitalized on that little window of opportunity, and we're able to pick off all these tanks. So this is nice. viOLet might still be able to mine from this base eventually, and that is a super important base because there is a lot of gas left to be mined over here. 1,100 and 1,000. There's 2,100 gas that he can still mine because he's about to mine out the last extractor that he had previously of this base.
Yeah, both players have such few resources available. The Mutalisks are gonna, well, they want to poke in, but with Thors and missile turrets and point defense shown, it's just not a breakable position. Neither one of these, like, there's no cost-effective way for either of these players to actually push and commit to an attack against the other.
Yeah, but as long as Major shuts down this base, then Major will know that he had way more money to mine than viOLet, basically one full base.
Yeah, that is really important. I'd still like to see, like, how many orbitals does he have? 7 orbitals. I would look, just drop mules on his base. Take the money.
Actually, that's really, we'll probably see that eventually. You know, this really reminds me, I'm sure you remember Fuser, right? Fuser, the Finnish Terran, he stayed with us in California for 6 to 8 months or something like that. He's a very fun guy. And he had this ridiculous timing on Newkirk. And if I tell you, you think I'd be making it up. But he was like, every now and then I'd come home and I see him in his epic mech game. And he's just like playing with one hand, eating chips with the other one, drinking Coke. And then he's like, Zerg is going to run out of gas at the 56-minute mark on Newkirk. And it happened every single time, and like Zergs got so mad because they just had no more gas to work with. Of course, this is a different map, but I imagine that it's relatively similar. That, you know, viOLet in a minute of 10.
Oh, these Broodlords, man, the Ravens and Vikings are not in position. Where are the Infestors poised to catch these forces? No. So, there's no big chance of getting fungals, but he's killing a lot of the siege tanks of Major. This is quite nice. These Broodlords will die. There's still about 3k gas in the bank. Where are the Infestors? Oh, they're all on the southwest side of the map, but wait, Zergling somehow got into the main base. He did get Zergling speed.
Yeah, he just researched Zergling speed. Zergling speed just finished up and actually working on an orbital. If these Zerglings pick up an orbital, that's more than you could ever wish for just a few minerals. So far the mineral bank is actually coming into use real handy over here.
Yeah, Ultra's killing some units, and suddenly viOLet is gaining a little bit of ground. Major, as much gas as he has,
look at these Zerglings,
a lot of minerals left to get these resources back.
These Zerglings on the south side of the map are doing some real work as well. They have taken out like 3 or 4 siege tanks there that were on siege, and they've been working on these missile turrets as well. Man, look at these happy Zerglings. Fantastic.
Yeah, this game is getting pretty crazy, but there's still a lot of swarm hosts on the map, and worst comes to absolute worst, if Major cannot afford to rebuild all those tanks, he's got just 7 on the map versus 18 swarm hosts.
Major actually has a mineral problem because he's mining of only 1 base now, and he has no mineral bank.
Yeah, I'm really concerned for Major now. I think viOLet has played this masterfully.
These Zerglings.
And with all the minerals that he has, now the tanks aren't as big of an issue. Like, I don't know if you want to try to Seeker Missile Ultras, or I guess Ultras are too expensive of a choice.
There's only so many units out on the map. I mean, these Ravens are still a very scary thing.
But he's still a couple fungals away from disaster is the real problem.
Yeah.
He could point to, he can point Defense Drone to defend himself from Mutalisks if he gets fungled, but if the Infestors step in and out of the range of Seeker Missile quickly enough, because Fungal and Seeker Missile have the same cast range, then it should be kind of doable to chain fungal it to death.
It's really funny because, like, I wonder what is going to be a bigger problem in this game: viOLet's lack of gas or Major's lack of minerals. And so far, you definitely have to look at Major's mineral bank being even more starved than the bank of viOLet.
Yeah, there's a couple thousand resources left at that south central base. It's
not really a whole lot.
About 1,000 resources at his bottom right base. There's, let's see, 70 minerals in his third. Almost 200 minerals in his natural. He's got a couple bucks hanging around here and there.
Yeah,
I'd still like to see mules on that southwest
He's going to
base.
pick up pennies. Now we see Banshees on the production tab. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. Going to get Cloak as well now. How do you feel about that?
I mean, there really were never a lot of Spore Crawlers, and there are no Overseers. So if he makes him build Overseers, that's probably gas he doesn't want to
currently, but of course there are Infestors as well. Those are kind of scary.
Yeah.
Major's army. Major's gonna be like the first player in history to have like 200 army supply.
Yeah, he's just pure 200 army supply with no workers. He's getting there. He's only got 19 SCVs left.
Taking the zone, like, watch out. Army's getting very close to each other. But in the end, they decide to disengage.
I think there's not enough anti-air to actually fight. I'd like to see him split up, move a couple Ravens ahead, Seeker the Infestors, and then continue to push forward. Because right now, look at all these Zerglings on the right side. Like, he's allowing viOLet to pick him apart, and I don't think viOLet can contest this army anymore.
I really like all these Zerglings though from viOLet. It's definitely the best use of his minerals that he could have gone for. He's ravaging every. You know, this could still turn into some sort of an epic base raid as well.
You know what? I actually think there's not enough resources left on the map. If Major lifted all his buildings and hid in the top center,
that's good.
He could not die because he has so many Ravens.
Then he might not win, but he should also not die.
Yeah. Worst, he has an exit strategy.
Well, that's the only thing we haven't seen yet in WCS America Premier League round of 16, a draw, and this could very well turn into one, but we're definitely not there yet. There's still 2 very big armies on the map. viOLet still has a crazy amount of money in the bank. He is mining again from the base on the left bottom side of the map as well, so he's still earning some gas. He has like 1,100 additional gas to mine, so he still has 3,000 gas left to eventually put into use, but, you know, that's 30 Mutalisk.
There's nothing really worth fighting for in this tough area. Like,
wow, that sounded so sad.
No, you gotta think about it. Like, there's no resources. Like, I guess eventually he could try to hit his tech, but I think if Major was pushing the south side, maybe he can at least shut down some economy. More Broodlords, I guess that kind of helps. Only takes 1 or 2 waves of Broodlings to help kill all those siege tanks. If he moves them in with the Zerglings, that's also a problem. I still think he could be a bit more adventurous with his Ravens because there's so few mutas out on the map. These Ravens, all these Banshees get caught. No cloak? That's upsetting.
Yeah, he has cloak.
Yeah, he didn't use it though.
I'm really upset as well because you just said there is nothing worth fighting for anymore, and I thought that's so sad, Nate.
You know what? Sometimes the turtle just has to retreat into its shell. Broodlords are going to take some hits, and these missile turrets are here. It kills a couple Vikings. Every unit that Major loses is irreplaceable. And viOLet, these Zerglings are totally worth it.
These Zerglings are total ballers so far. He's going to burrow a bunch of them as well. That's very smart. There are plenty of orbitals though, but most of them are in the air.
There's only 1 starport left, so Major's heavy gas bank, he actually cannot rebuild the Ravens. Because he can't even afford to build starports.
You know what Major should do is just like keep 2 hellbats behind these supply depots in his main base and raise the wall. You don't have to worry about those crazy Zerglings anymore.
It's not like he's going to make anything that doesn't fly anymore, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
that last starport is quite weak too. I think his Viking Raven production is shut down, so...
Seeker missiles are definitely have like the most endurance of all the units out there in this game. Like normally you would say the Swarmos, but in this case, you know, Swarmos against the Raven, I'd rather have Ravens then, I guess.
Yeah, it's tricky, because the Ravens...
Oh, Swarmos died.
Well, Yeah, the supply. Sometimes people like to say the supply tells stories, but there's still a lot of options for viOLet. He is running out of gas,
though. Nate, that's a very good fong on the south side of the map, as these Vikings will get fong with a couple of Ravens caught out of position as well. This was a really expensive loss for...
3 full energy Ravens. Yeah. That is an expensive loss.
viOLet's supply is only very low. He has 1,800 gas left, and he's able to mine 700 more. So, oh my god.
He gets the big cloud. The rest of the infestors do run away, so he's not going to lose it, but he can't afford to repair those units. He steps forward.
viOLet needs to produce something now. What would you recommend? Ultras?
What are you gonna? There's not. I don't think there's anything you can build that's gonna fight this.
Queens.
Like viOLet's. If you want to stop this Raven Viking cloud, your best chance is to get MajOr to foolishly Seeker Missile a few of your mutas and then run them into the Viking Raven so he splashes himself. Because the point defense drone, he should never be able to actually kill these units.
That sounds like a very desperate plan.
This actually works surprisingly well for some players.
I believe it works very well, but it also sounds like something that you don't really want to rely on.
That's like, the mutual assured destruction policy right there.
It's like, well, you know, I can still win this game if he just sort of kills his own army.
If I can get him to accidentally kill himself, I can still win this game.
I don't know. I mean, it's 129 army supply against 94 now. viOLet still has 2,000 gas in the bank, still has a little bit access to a little bit more. Slowly but steady picking up a few units. Every unit he picks off of viOLet or of MajOr is very nice. Zerglings in the main base just do not stop. Man, I really underestimated the power of the Zergling.
Yeah, he managed to upgrade his melee all throughout the game. I think only thing he skipped out on was adrenal glands. But I guess at this point,
it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
He's like, I'm not going to waste the gas.
I need every... Yeah, they do need every penny at this point.
How many
He's landed the Vikings. I don't think that there's few enough swarm hosts to push with landed Vikings. I guess he can use point defense drone to allow his Vikings to... Yeah, you know what? That's actually one way to do it. If the point defense drones don't let him hit, but then he's still sorry about fungals.
viOLet just made 2 more overseers. More and more Zerglings just streaming across the map, and that means that eventually all these turrets will probably die. I think from this point what MajOr is going to do is going to send all of his buildings to all of his tanks, and he's just going to run around with his army and his infrastructure at the same time.
There's only 3 Mutalisks on the map. I still think MajOr has the exit strategy open and just lift everything off, because she's surely been in this position before. And those infestors won't be useful at all if these buildings are all in the air.
You know, MajOr's getting closer and closer to the only mining base of viOLet. viOLet fires up 5 Ultras. Now that is a massive investment. 5 Ultras, 4 Corruptors. I actually think... Do you think he has enough DPS to kill the Ultras? Right now, if he brings all the Zerglings as well, I kind of feel that viOLet's army is going to be too strong for the army of MajOr. I mean, yes, Seeker missiles are fantastic, but you're looking at 164 supply of Zerg units right now with Brood Lords, Ultras, Infestors, and Swarmos. Like, you don't really want to mess with that either.
Awesome, cute Burn Infestor play, throwing Infestaran eggs on the siege tanks, forcing a lot of them to unsiege, and the Ravens will come up.
I think viOLet is going to do this, man.
Oh, the Infestor's close. Gets a couple of the Ravens. You can fire Seeker Missile while fungled, and it would kill it. No. So I think this is the only way that MajOr could really lose this game, because I still think, even now, he still kind of has the option. There's no more gas for viOLet. If he loses his ground army, he can just fly to the top of the map, and we could have a regame. No, I mean, super serious. I would do it. If I was MajOr, I'm like, I can't rebuild. He has so much.
This is WCS America. Of course you want to do it. viOLet is pulling everything that he has, and he should definitely win the fight on the ground. There's so many Zerglings. There are a bunch of Ultras. There's so many Locusts. He's landing on the Vikings
on the ground. MajOr giving up potentially his only chance
for a draw.
There's still only 1 Mutalisk. If he can escape with these Vikings, he actually still has the choice. I don't know if there's enough gas left on this map.
There's like 228 gas left in that extractor, which could turn into a few Corruptors.
You know what? If he kills all these ground bases, some of MajOr's refineries actually, on that right side, the bottom middle, actually still have enough gas that he could build. He could build a lot from that. Oh, man. There's still some fungals left. There's no tanks, though.
And there are plenty of Queens left as well. Queens can, of course, shoot up.
MajOr's got to fly away. He's got to go to the top. There's nothing else. There's no other option. And he just has to hope that he has enough energy by the time. Oh, he's going to Seeker Missile these Queens. Well, I guess that's one way to do it, but they should be able to transfuse.
Yep. Not super effective there. I think
he's got to lift up. He cannot stay here.
viOLet has enough money to make hatcheries at all those refineries, and he can start mining gas from it. As long as viOLet realizes that there is gas left on MajOr's side of the map. There's plenty of gas.
He tries to build Widow Mines with these. There are no Overseers. There's not enough gas left to build any Overseers with, but Major, you gotta
Not
fly away,
now.
dude. You gotta fly away. There's no other choice. You gotta take the draw, or you're gonna lose.
He's gonna do that right now, but now he's gonna feel very, very sad about not mining out his own refineries. There's 2,700 gas left at his original gold base.
So,
that is a lot
his
of
gold
gas.
base has
2,700 gas.
That's enough. That's enough,
Yeah.
actually. I'm mostly wondering if Violet's gonna.
Does he have enough minerals then? Oh no, the Zerglings came back to hunt him.
Oh my God.
No way.
So if we assume that there's enough gas, actually there's still
Yeah.
you know what? There's still about
Now that's going to be enough gas, but is it going to be enough minerals?
there's 500 minerals on the right side, but it'd take him too long to kill that. So, oh man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this kind of math in a StarCraft broadcast. It's like, let's see, is there enough gas? He has access to 1,100 gas, basically.
No, it's more than that. He has
he has-
access to 2,700 gas.
All right, yeah, from the gold base. So the only minerals he could get up to at most would be about 2,000. So.
Or wait, you know, how much gas is there left over here?
I like that Major's at least going to use his last couple bucks to repair these units before he finishes his flying journey.
Yeah, you're right. There is 1,100 gas that's easy to mine. There is 2,700 gas that's very tricky to mine on this gold base.
He just spent 500 minerals on something. Was
yeah,
it queens? He's
hatchery.
got 16
No,
queens.
he's making a hatchery at the gold base, but that hatch, you know, those drones are going to get Seeker missiled for days, or like auto turret, don't you think so?
I mean,
with queens.
it's possible, but the queen should be enough defense. The problem is, by the time he gets all that together, there's going to be so much Raven energy.
He's spending a lot of minerals. I'm not sure if like double hatchery was the way to go. Because now he's going to have gas, but he's not going to have any minerals anymore.
He's going for every last penny. Look, these 175 resources on the right. And Major's old natural, he's like, I want that. I want it. He's moving drones
but that's
there.
that's a losing investment.
No. I mean, he doesn't need to build a hatch.
No,
but
exactly.
He just mines it from long distance.
I don't think he should have built 2 hatcheries, Nate. I really think he should have got only 1. He's making another hatchery. Well, what's happening? Why are mules hugging a hatchery, Nate?
I don't understand. Does I'm surely Major knows. Major's done what he needs to do. I don't believe there's a way that VioLet can get enough to kill all of this.
Why did he just waste 300 more minerals on that hatchery? I do not understand.
That limits the number of mutas he can.
Yes.
He actually, he can. I thought with 2,000 resources, maybe, but now it has to be dropped.
That is like the biggest waste of money that I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think there's any way that this game ends other than a draw at this point. There's no extra minerals. The total amount of resources that VioLet can still mine, 550 plus 25 plus 40. Like, that's it.
That is the Federal Reserve right there.
So that will allow VioLet to build 5 more units. And these Seeker missiles, actually, as comical as it might seem to throw all of these, Major really needs to save his energy, because if all these Ravens are maxed out, then there's not enough anti-air. The way it works for Zerg, he does not have a way to attack him from the skies without point defense drone blocking.
Yep.
So Major's being adventurous. He still has an opportunity to throw the game, I guess, but
Major has to be so sad now that he didn't mine out that 1 patch, because there's 500 minerals.
Yeah, all it would have taken 2 more meals. That's it. And then I still don't think it's enough of an impact, because with the gas that he has, the most amount of Mutalisks that he can make, because Corruptors attack slow anyway, so point defense will still kill them.
So like in roughly 5 minutes from now on, we're going to see 20 Mutalisks being produced, or Corruptors. What do you think?
I'm not sure it matters, just be totally honest with you. Both of them have kind of slow attack rates. The Mutalisk, I guess the bounce doesn't matter if the initial shot gets blocked too. The only thing is Corruptors probably do more damage per initial hit.
But they can soak up. Seeker missiles a lot better, no?
That's true. However, if here's the thing: if the Mutalisks run in, and the Vikings unleash 1 or 2 volleys, he kills a Mutalisk or 2. He won't lose any Vikings because of point defense drone. The Corruptors move much slower, and the Vikings do bonus damage versus them. So I think if you go with Corruptors, you give a bigger opportunity for Major to actually kill stuff. And he's landing that command center to see what's going on here. But
oh, fungal.
Even that is no. Stay higher. Don't leave that corner.
He still took some damage. Every HP counts.
Yeah. The fungal is the only way that VioLet has to kill these units, because anything else is going to be blocked by
Don't
PvP.
you think that even when they start fighting over here, that the queens are close enough to drop a lot of transfusions? Look at the players.
Yeah, but you're not going to kill anything. Point defense drone. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's
transfuse range isn't that long.
Yeah, but he can
Look, he's already put a couple up ahead of time.
Yeah, that's very smart, so he can regen energy. But, you know, I still think that he can start fighting from far away. He can start shooting. Like, he might not be... he doesn't have to stand on top of those Vikings and Ravens with his Corruptors. He can stand, like, far away to actually shoot at them and then still be in range of the Queens of being transfused. I think viOLet's... it's...
Okay, so I think I've thought of a way that viOLet can actually win this game.
Tell me.
If he gets... so the thing is, point defense drone will block any attacks, but there's still a very low number of Vikings. With the Carapace upgrades that he has, these 5 Vikings need 2 volleys to kill a Viper. So if he gets 1 or 2 Vipers and he stays close enough that he can be transfused...
Overlords are going to be brought in as well. That's actually very smart. They can really mess up. You should save them.
There's actually a really funny thing about how this works. I know he wants to pull these units closer, but I've actually tested this in my many Terran versus Terran base trades. If you, like, air units, when you put your own together, they'll naturally move apart. They will not move for other air units, though. So these Overlords, they could go right on top of this army and they wouldn't displace it. As weird as it sounds, you can't push stuff with your own air units.
You know what's also really funny to think of? It's like, how many? Okay, we have 1 Ultralisk, we have 14 Queens. You know, if viOLet makes all these air units now and he goes for that 1 big attack and he doesn't win and he actually doesn't kill a whole lot, can MajOr suddenly turn around and win the game with Ravens?
He could Seeker Missile for days, actually. Maybe that's one reason why neither of these players want to ask for a draw. The thing is, I don't think viOLet is going to go for Vipers.
Theoretically, they can still both win.
I think viOLet's just kind of waiting. He really wants to just bait MajOr. Like, MajOr should put everything on hold position and just keep his eyes open and just wait. He doesn't have any other choice than that.
This is like the scariest horror game you could ever play, man. Like, you don't know what's coming for you.
Yeah.
We need some dramatic sound effects in here as well, you know, when like the Corruptor busts through the door. It's like, ah!
Man, you know, for all the theory crafting I do and all the weird games I played to StarCraft, I never thought I'd be in a more fitting situation where I could talk about all the weird things that can happen here. As a Terran, you know, any Terrans watching, you've been here before.
So let's... viOLet is taking that. viOLet is almost done mining, by the way. There are 165 minerals left on the south side of the map. There's plenty of gas left, but he's gonna have more gas than minerals, I guess, so he'll be fine. Can you kill me? We don't know yet. viOLet doesn't know. No one knows.
So my assumption is that viOLet's going to mine out as much as he can, and then either he's going to attack or just wait for the in-game timer. I don't know. There's a lot of gas left at that gold base, so...
Oh, he fungled in range of a Viking.
Got 1 Viking.
Yeah, he's getting a Raven now as well.
That could actually do it. He really can't forward. Those Ravens don't shoot, man. Point defense drone is good, but you need something that can attack.
Okay, all the PDDs just expired. I don't know how this is going to go. This can seriously still go either way. If viOLet goes crazy on an attack, uses everything, that's a good fungal. He's going to be able to renew it. No, he's not.
I would like him to go to the tippy-top tip center. Just go to the center.
Yeah, you're right. Then you don't have to worry about the city queens.
Move to the left. Just move it over a little bit. Break out. You know what the epic song we need is? To the left.
To the left, to the left.
All your Ravens and your command centers to the left, MajOr.
In a little box to the left.
Yeah, the thing, these it's just silly that these infestors, like MajOr's like, look, man, you are about as close as you could actually be, despite the fact that you are flying in the air, of course. So, he's a little flower maneuver. That'll keep him all I guess that's another way to do it.
Good old patrol.
So, if and or when does viOLet do anything?
He wants to make sure that he mines every last mineral. And there are right now 30 minerals left in the right bottom side of the map. So that's going to be it for the mineral. Okay, he goes for the Corruptors, Nate. Corruptor is his unit of choice. It's going to be 12 of them. Is 12 Corruptors with Transfuse? I do believe that it can be enough.
He could have gotten more units if he went for the Mutalisks.
Yeah, but Corruptors are way more beefy and they won't die to a single Seeker missile.
That's true. Maybe, you know what? The other thing is, with the last few minerals, he has enough resources to build like a Muta. And as funny as that sounds, if he can kill all the Vikings, then it could work. He actually could suicide onto these units too, I think, if he drops Seekers.
My favorite part of this game is that the Spine Crawler just came in to reinforce as well, right below this extractor where all the queens are. The Spine is like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to help too, guys.
Those damned auto turrets, man. You gotta keep your eyes open. Okay, MajOr's decided to shift himself slightly west.
To the left. Oh, the Spore Spine is like, damn it. I was finally going to be part of the fun.
Yeah, I like this though, because this just removes a couple distractions. The thing is, if he dances around against the Corruptors, then he's at risk of getting fungled. But now he has a lot more space to maneuver.
So we're looking at 12 Corruptors supported by 14 Queens that are slightly out of range and 3 Infestors. Here we go, Corruptors moving forward, Nate.
I like this. He wants the Overlords to tank the first couple of shots. They're the point defense drones, and thing is,
Corruptor
he
died.
just see that's exactly what I was saying. I don't think viOLet can win because he's going to trade away 1 unit at a time, and for MajOr, he has so much energy on these Ravens, it doesn't matter.
He just made 1 more Corruptor.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm really not sure it matters for MajOr as long as he kills 1 Corruptor for every X energy spent by the Ravens.
And then eventually, Seeker missiles can win the game for MajOr, but then it's really going to be a night shift for us.
Yeah, that would. I don't know. There's still Spore Crawlers.
Can you get that contract in regards of overtime, Nate? This could be a great night for us. After today, WCS America is bankrupt after paying employees overtime. That would be great. Just kidding. It would be awful.
No arguments here, Kappa.
Would be a one-time great moment.
One-time great special.
And then it would be forever sadness in our hearts.
Yeah, so this is... I like that the Overlord's doing this, but even the Overlord's going to die eventually. Like, MajOr doesn't care what he trades for, because his army is not touchable thanks to point defense drone.
Yeah, I think viOLet, if he loses like 2 or 3 Corruptors, he's going to realize that this is not a winning strategy, so then he's going to ask for the draw, and then MajOr is going to realize, like, well, as long as he has all those units, I can't actually fly into him either. So I think eventually it will be a draw, unless one player shows a lot of Dutch courage. But
this game is resting on such a weirdly thin position that I think, look at this, another Corruptor almost dies. I guess he can come back and transfuse, but still.
How long do these PDDs stay alive? 180,
3 minutes.
180 seconds. Like, how much energy do you regen in 180 seconds?
I'm not doing that much math on stream, dude. I'm sure we have enough time. Anyone in the crowd, if you got a calculator, help us.
Yeah, I guess he can PDD for days.
He can transfuse his own Overlords just for fun, really. He can walk in, it's like, okay, get injured, come get some free healthcare, no worries, man.
The APM is still, man, I love it. MajOr's currently having like 400 APM. Going nuts.
Terran.
Terran is indeed the hardest
It's hard
race.
patrolling those Ravens back and forth, dude. Seriously.
Man, sometimes something dies and I'm like afraid I missed something, and then I realize it's just the PDDs expiring. They do die in a very interesting way. Corruptor's taking a lot of damage over here. 1 Corruptor almost falls, but Queens are there.
Yeah. It's become a battle of Raven energy versus Queen energy, and I think the Queen energy wins in the long term.
Yes, Ravens.
But there's still a lot of point defense drones here.
Yes, let's see how much energy he will be able to regenerate in the next 180 seconds, because he did just spend a crazy amount of Raven energy.
Yeah, this. Yeah, but it still steals a lot of time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
No,
anymore.
it's an Overlord.
Oh, don't step so far. Those Vikings, man.
You know you're in a stalemate situation when we're getting really excited of an Overlord taking damage. Not even dying. We're talking about damage.
Oh, he's scoped. He's getting really close.
Bam!
Whew. That actually could have ended the game right there. Scary to think.
Instead, it ended the life of an Overlord.
That Overlord, look at these transfuses. That's so adorable.
Yeah, the Overlord has great health insurance.
Man.
Thank you, Obama.
So at this stage of the game, we've resorted to random keyboard smashing. But at this stage of the game, it comes down to who runs out of patience first, and it shouldn't be MajOr, because MajOr, he can't lose. But viOLet, I guess viOLet kind of determines how much longer this game goes on, because as soon as he gives up, then he asks for a draw, and MajOr shouldn't have a way to come back with all the units and buildings that are on the ground. But eventually, viOLet should...
If viOLet overcommits, there is still a chance that the Ravens will win this game. Yeah, because there is no more money. Like, every unit that will die right now will never come back.
I think if... yeah, the thing is, you can't Seeker Missile structures, and if he just hides behind them and endlessly transfuses them versus however many auto turrets he builds, I still think it's doable. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is not a situation that I commonly theory craft for, Rotterdam.
That is the next exciting phase in this game, though. If we ever get
the
there.
auto turret versus Queen phase. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so stoked.
I told you that we'll be going back to the Stone Age with this game.
I've also thoroughly studied this, but I have never taken into account that the Queens might have +3 attack. It's actually they're actually okay versus the building armor turrets.
They're actually very strong. Oh, PDDs are all gone. Corruptor's gonna shoot at something. Nope, new PDDs will go down.
You sounded really excited. The only thing I'd like is if he staggered the PDDs more. He's putting too many more. He's like, can you kill me? He's
I
like,
don't know.
I don't know.
Try. Because like if the Ravens lose more energy, then you know by the time that a PDD expires,
he should try to drop just a couple less.
Yeah.
Like the
Exactly, he's overdoing it.
8-point defense drone drops. Will stop 20 volleys. There are less than 20 corruptors, so if he builds 2 at a time, he's safe.
More than enough, like absolutely more than enough. He just spent pretty much all of his Raven energy. Like right now, if they all expire, he can only actually drop 2 or 3. But I guess by the time that they actually expire, he will have access to 6, 7, or 8 again.
Yeah, he's going to try to step in on the left. I
mean, you know, this does allow us to talk about all the beautiful things in life. If you guys are watching this at home and you're like, wow, I want to be part of something like this, which I can only imagine that you do, make sure to come out to the studio on July 5th and 6th for WCS America Grand Finals. We're going to have some of the best Terran players in the world. We're going to have awesome Protoses and great Zergs as well. Our reigning champion is still alive. We have former champions that are still alive. And that's just some of the amazing things. You get free Red Bull, free water, free pizza.
Hey, man.
Selfies with Nate on his Instagram.
This is one of those situations that Red Bull really comes in handy.
Yes. Can we get one? Kent Silva.
Hook us up.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. And of course, talking about Red Bull, make sure if you have any interest or if you live on the East Coast, make sure to head out to the Battlegrounds in Atlanta, July 11th to the 13th. It's going to be a great tournament, like Todd said as well, very unique in the tournament in Battlegrounds Atlanta. The top 32 will get paid. So if you just win a bunch of series, you'll already walk away with a few $100s. You know, Nate, if I wasn't casting it, I'd try my luck. See if I can all in someone for some juicy esports dollars.
Dude, I wish I could play in that.
Maybe,
so cool.
Maybe we can make something happen.
Do it up.
No, not Overlord goes
down.
An
Overlord died. Where's the cheers? Come on.
Woo!
Yeah!
Now, all jokes aside, though, it's going to be an amazing tournament. If you guys want to know more, visit battlegrounds.redbull.com, and there is a lot of information about the Atlanta event over there. We want you all to sign up, and if you don't want to play, you just want to watch, do that too. You're more than welcome. If there's ever going to be a place with a lot of free Red Bull, it will probably be during a Battlegrounds.
All right, so we have an admin pause on the game. I assume this is the part where we ask the players.
Is like, hey,
hey man, I still have a chance at this.
I'm having the game of my life. This reminds me of the Pro League game.
Referee in the game?
Who was the Pro League game? That TVZ? It was Fantasy.
I mean, it was
Fantasy against.
There were a couple. I think it was Reality against.
Reality.
Life?
I don't think it was
a Star Station game. It was Reality against maybe it was.
It was a different Zerg though.
Effort? I can't remember.
It could have been Effort. I know there are like hundreds of nerds out there that are screaming this in chat right now. Because, you know, I thought it was so funny where the Zerg player was like, no, I want to continue playing this. I think I can win. And the Terran was like, really? Well, then I'm going to sit in my main base with 100 tanks and missile turrets. And then after 45 minutes of Locust dying, eventually the Zerg is like, hey, you know what? You were right. I can't kill you. After like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. Talking about long games. Have we had a longer game yet in WCS America than this?
I mean, in the history of WCS America, I'm tempted to say yes. In this season, I think it's safe to say no. It's really funny as well how this happened, because earlier today, viOLet vs MajOr was the most action-packed game that we've seen in a long time, like non-stop action.
These guys are so evenly matched, they actually can't kill each other.
No. Yeah, we said this multiple times. You know, guys, it's not always cast a cliche when we say that they are very evenly matched and that this is going to be a great matchup. These two guys, either they trade best of threes back and forth, or they just can't kill each other. Now the admin is currently talking with our players, as you guys are watching viOLet on screen. I do not think that this game has to end right now. I'm kind of enjoying myself, Nate.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those experiences that you don't get to have very often in life, unless you play mech a lot, I guess. Then there are others to consult.
All right, we are going to try at least for a little while longer, as viOLet has expressed very sincere emotions about wanting to continue playing this game. And of course, we are all for that, Nate. As long as we think that someone is going to win, we are not just going to push for a draw.
Yeah, I still think it's not possible for viOLet to lose, but...
I think theoretically they can both still win.
Before viOLet goes for a draw, he's going to lose all of his corruptors. Like, he will not... I don't see any reason for viOLet to accept the draw before he loses his
I really feel if he loses all of the corruptors, what's going to stop MajOr from trying to win with his Seeker missiles?
I mean, there's
like
14 queens.
Well, Seeker missiles, if he drops 2 Seeker missiles at the same time at 1 queen, it will die. Okay. You can't transfuse between 2 Seeker missiles.
Here is my reasoning for why I don't think it should be possible. There are 2 spine crawlers and a spore crawler. He puts himself in a corner of the map. He puts the spine and spore up front. His swarm hosts are behind. The swarm host locust will kill any auto turrets, and he can transfuse for days if any of his units take damage.
But how can he transfuse if MajOr casts 3 Seeker missiles at the same time at 1 queen? How is he going to transfuse them?
He just runs away.
But if he's in the corner of the map, you just said he's on the ropes.
Okay, then he can be in the middle. It doesn't matter.
Get your game straight.
I always say corner only matters if he wants to go auto turrets.
You suck at theory crafting, Nate. This is no fun at all.
What?
Cheater.
What is... I'm sorry. I didn't choose to be right about this.
All right, as you guys can see.
How many times... You know, I think I did a count a month ago. In my career, I've had 25 draws on ladder, which I think is abnormally high because I like to play mech.
That is a lot of draws.
I like to play mech. I've been in this exact situation, except usually I have a battle cruiser or 2, which makes it a bit easier because Yamato is great.
One of the naughtiest things that I ever did was I was playing this game on ladder, and I actually couldn't kill my opponent anymore. And then he's like nothing happened for a few minutes, and I pretended I was still saving up, but actually there was no more money to be mine. But he had no map vision. And then he's like, "Can you kill me?" I was like, "Yeah, I think in a few minutes." He's like, "Oh, GG," and he left. And I felt so bad. I was like, "That's a terrible thing to do. I should never do that again."
Yeah. So he comes up, more point defense drones drop, still not... Okay, he's gonna kill... Oh, he kills a Corruptor! He's killed 1! He's killed 2! I think viOLet is fed up with this. 3 Corruptors die.
There's still so much PDD energy left.
Seeker missiles. Oh, no fireworks.
Oh, the Seeker missile is actually a waste of energy though, but there's still so much.
He still has a lot of point defense on energy.
I know.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot of point defense on energy.
Another Corruptor just fell. Corruptor's being microed very furiously over here. There is still plenty of PDD energy left. More Seeker missiles going down.
I think he could run into the Vikings. Just move the targeted ones in. I like that he's baiting the energy, but there's still a lot of point defense on energy left.
Yep, the Corruptor count is currently only at 6.
He's managed to get MajOr to fight him in a really good spot, though. He can transfuse. This is actually going to work out. I think if MajOr stands here...
Vikings taking real damage.
Yeah.
No!
If MajOr stays here... Oh, another... Oh, fungal.
Okay,
MajOr needs to back up.
Let's take a look at the Ravens. How much energy is there on the Ravens? 79. How much does he need? 100.
He needs 100. There are there are about 3 Ravens that are close-ish, but they're not there. The total number of point defense zones. There are a few with energy, but they're in the back. He can't let himself be baited forward anymore.
The worst thing is PDDs actually regenerate energy as well. Yeah, never mind. There's one with like 200. Okay, forget about it.
Yeah, I don't think...
1 Viking has fallen.
Against 4 Corruptors, I think he's got what he needs now.
Yeah, I think MajOr can officially not lose this game anymore. This is Sparta, man. Like, look at these 4 Vikings. They're killing like tons of Persians.
Yeah, this is gonna be a draw, is what it is. I like that viOLet. I agree with the decision for viOLet to not accept the draw initially. You have to lose your units first. Because I still don't. I don't agree with you. I don't think MajOr can kill him. I don't think there's any way.
But I want to see MajOr try.
He could. He could make this into the longest WCS America game in history.
Don't tell me that you don't want to know if these Seeker missiles can win the game.
If I was playing, I would do it. I would try.
Oh, fungal lands. Oh, he can renew this fungal actually. No.
And now there's just 3 Corruptors left versus 4 Vikings.
Vikings are taking more and more damage though.
Yeah, this is funny. One of these Ravens had like that science vessel ability where they could just fix things. This would be great.
MajOr has to be careful because like all of his Vikings are like 1 shot away from dying. There's one with, let's take a look at the HP. 35, 65, 35, 95.
This Viking's really close. MajOr.
Still plenty of Queen energy left.
Yeah.
viOLet is doing some real work with his 3 little Corruptors.
Yeah, the thing is, even if he doesn't kill the command center, all of his attacks being blocked because he has the range advantage in this situation, allow him to bait out the energy from the point defense drone. So this is the really long-term plan.
There is so much more energy available on these queens, and it's a lot easier to transfuse 3 Corruptors than it is to... if I was MajOr, I would move everything a little bit to the right again.
Yeah. Just keep going back and forth,
man. To the right. Yep.
Just don't stop going back and forth. That's all I can say.
I mean, there's so much energy on these queens. Oh, this is gonna go on forever.
This is the game that never ends.
You know, I really think that MajOr is starting to feel better and better about his chances in this game. Not only about drawing, but actually about winning it.
Please no. I don't think he can. But I know it'll take a long time for him to try.
I cannot live without I cannot live with myself if I don't at least see him try.
Yeah. Oh, he fungled a few Ravens. I think that at this point though, he doesn't even need this many Ravens anymore.
PDD is not gonna save you. Man, Raven's taking some real damage.
Oh, he's trying. He targets a Cryptor.
Man, the Ravens survive as well. This is brutal, man. Alrighty.
The Ravens die, nevermore.
You know what I used to do when I used to work in at the ESL in Germany? When I had a game like this, I would tab out and I'd start playing Robot Unicorn Attack with this great song, you know? Like,
no. Dude, you got, it's all Techno Kitten Adventure is much better in my opinion.
Hey, don't you be dissing Robot Unicorn Attack. You're driving with me, remember? I take my Robot Unicorn Pride very serious. It's a great game.
These queens are dancing.
Man.
At least we get a show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at them go. Again, please.
Go look at that body.
Yeah, let's try. He's like, okay, screw this. MajOr's like, all right.
MajOr's okay with it. Wow, guys. After 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 16 seconds, we are still tied up 0-0. This is almost like watching the World Cup of football.
Oh, man. Well, that is... What a game to start the final match.
What a game.
What a game. Oh, boy.
All right, guys, so we are back at the same point where we were like roughly 90 minutes ago. We are getting ready for the final series of the day between MajOr and viOLet. Two very evenly matched players in what is currently, I think, already our longest broadcast so far of WCS America. Yeah. As you guys can perhaps imagine, we're going to head over to a very small break as we are going to take a look at this badass trailer that Red Bull put together for the Battlegrounds Atlanta, July 11th to July 13th. Stay tuned and we'll be right back with more TVZ.